Vice Chair Little,
No.
Member Racine,
Yes.
Member Brooks,
No.
Chair Kinsey.
Yes.
Eight yes, 7 no.
8-7, the motion passes. Bluebonnet will be added to the approved list. It's Bluebonnet ELAR, thank you. We are on to Bluebonnet Math now.
Somebody made the point that that the curriculum is Bible infused, and my response was, you know what else is Bible infused? The English language, and the Bible. Think of how often even non-Christians, for example, will use phrases in their everyday conversation, like Good Samaritan, forbidden fruit, prodigal son, hanging on a cross, 30 pieces of silver, on and on and on. Our language is just filled with these references, and this is the critical part. That literate writers and speakers assume their audiences know. And when they don't, comprehension breaks down. But I'm looking at this purely from the perspective of somebody who wants children to be able to read with comprehension. So that requires making sure that they know what literate writers and speakers assume they know. It's a lovely idea in theory to say, oh, it must be representative, but the language is not representative. It changes over time, but it shouldn't surprise anybody that given our cultural background, our language is disproportionately features allusions to, say, Christianity, classical literature, works of art, mythology, and whatnot.
So we think that it's important to teach about the Bible, but when you teach the Bible, you're crossing a line in Texas public schools. And so it has been our position that while it is important to teach that the Bible exists and different faith exists, and Christianity is, of course, a major faith around the world, there are many people in the world who do not believe that particular faith. And if they do, they may not believe in the version that is being taught in these materials. And so this could be harmful not only to Jewish students, but to Muslim students, to other Christian students, to Hindu students, or people that don't subscribe to a faith at all. So we certainly value the religious teachings, and we think that those should be between a parent or a faith leader and the student. And so when it comes to having teachers and educators teaching these things in a public school, students don't know enough to push back. And of course, they're taught to trust their teachers and to believe their teachers, and that their teachers are in a position of authority. Going forward now, we have an opportunity to meet locally with our school districts and to talk to them about why this curriculum may not be appropriate for use in the schools. And so we look forward to continuing our advocacy in these efforts and to meeting with our local districts and local administrations to talk to them about the pros and cons of the curriculum as it is now.
We now have one governmental entity, one group of people that are in power that are putting their thumb on the scale in the adoption of this curriculum to the detriment of many others in our society that may feel that their own beliefs are being encroached upon. It seems to be primarily Christian-based curriculum that leans far too heavy on a religious story or religious base to the point that it is framing a narrative and moving those that utilize the curriculum and those that learn from it into a particular religious channel, as opposed to what really should be the place of government is to be neutral on such issues. You know, young students are very impressionable. We've had the same government, many of the same players behind it in the state of Texas actually making accusations against our educators that we're indoctrinating students, when in fact, as this curriculum comes to development and is implemented in school districts, particularly because they are focusing on kids so young and so impressionable, that we will in fact have a state government that's indoctrinating students. Communities that are particularly impacted that may be of different faiths or have different backgrounds, you know, I do think that it is their place to decide whether whether what the state is doing actually crosses the line of the separation of church and state.